Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Insight. 152 years old. Which organization is that? Yes, you got it right, the Jamaica Constabulary Force. 152 years ago. Time for reflection, time for review. We have invited and they have accepted our invitation to come and discuss this aging, old, making itself applicable to modern society. All these types of things will come out in our discussion. Superintendent at CSSB, Community Safety and Security Branch, Superintendent Velma Thomas, welcome. And Inspector Natalie Palmer. They're here to help us trash this out and see if in the end it's a force for good. But help us though, Sue. 152 years ago, I know that you weren't there, that much I know. But help me in terms of what you know of this starting of the JCF. From whence did it come?
Okay, good morning to all viewers and good morning. The JCF all started out of that famous Morant Bay rebellion. So the 28th of November 1867, that was when the JCF was started. If you remember at that time, we would remember because of history, we would read and all of that. The watchman situation, we wanted security because it is believed that Paul Bogle was a real bad man.
Well,
yes,
you know, relative to what those guys were saying.
Yes, yes. And as a result of that, it all started out in that area, in that time. Mm-hmm. And of such, fast forward to 152 years, we would have made some strides. And in whatever you're doing, you have to look at where you're coming from, where you are, and where we really intend to go. Okay. And that is our purpose this year.
And let me push one at you then. Because you have internal customers and external customers. You have to take care of the people within the rank and file of the JCF. And you have to take care of the customers, the public. But the members of the JCF comes from the public. I don't think you have any, they don't beam you up at night, Scotty, and then you come down in the day. You come from here, they check you out. Have we been getting a better cohort, better crew, better set of people coming in? Is the educational standards, for example, that represent the force any better off than when they came from the watchmen days of the 19th century?
I am extremely happy for that question because educational-wise, the force is more advanced. We have several doctors of different...
not medical doctors.
Not medical doctors, but
philosophy.
Philosophy,
yes.
right.
Yes.
And
yes.
we have several persons who would have been teachers. And you know, to be a teacher, you'd have to graduate from one of those esteemed areas. And we have several of those persons here. We have several persons. A matter of fact, it is very challenging now, and it is even much harder now because to join, because in years gone by, the Bigfoot, and that is what then, because that is what we would have been accustomed to, the Bigfoot, and you're tall and strong. But now we are looking at those persons who are more educated, who can reason much better. And the force is much better off now as it relates to that part than it was then.
Inspector, since I won't keep you mute all the way, your own, how many years have you given to this 152?
22 years.
22 years.
22 years.
You know, 22 against 152. Well, it rhymes. But that's fine. In terms of what brought you to it? What has it lived up to your expectations, or you won't go home? You just
No, in everything you have to give and take. There are expectations that would have been met and some not as yet, but I'm still working and I'm still hopeful that before I depart the organization, keeping it crossed,
yes.
before I depart the organization, that all my expectations, or most of them, would have been met. But what I do know is that we have a force of people who are loyal to each other, there are some organizations where people may be complaining that the camaraderie is not there, that person's having your back. We have that in the JSS. So for that part of it, I can give thanks. When I came into the organization, and I must tell you that everything that I have, everything that I am, I give to the JCF. I came here pretty young, legal age, 18, but I had nothing. I came in with a couple of CXC subjects. The organization allowed me to go to school to better myself. Mm-hmm. So I was allowed that time, and for that I am thankful. And we would have been encouraging members. Again, superintendent talk about the big body. Those are the days when you had not much brain, but you had to have the brawn.
Yes.
So persons came in then. We have constables now who are coming in. This is the entry level with a master's degree. Mm-hmm. So we are very happy for that. And we believe that when we get these kind of persons, the thinking is a little bit different. So we're talking moving from traditional to modern and all of that. We're going to get to the first good aspect of it. But it is saying that we have persons who can think. And that is the current situation that we have. It needs persons who can actually think. And if you have seen, I'm not sure if you have done any of our interviews or standing at the panel, but when we are being interviewed, it's not the typical questions that we're asked. No, because we want to say, but remember, things happen in a split second for us, so we have to be able to think. So we believe that when we get the persons who are of a higher educational standard, then it benefits the entire Jamaica, and we would have been moving towards that.
Yes. One of the things that superintendent perhaps would have come through since the first time, the first year, the first birthday, now the 152nd, is the command and control management style. That because you're senior, you are whatever you say go. To what extent the managers like yourself take care of a division, take care of a branch, take care of a unit, take care of a non-geographical area, understands that in this day and age, when you entering with a thing with a master's as a constable, when you would have finished school at, doing very well, that you can think outside the box, that you can accommodate this. And while we understand the rank and file and the rank system has to be recognized, or else you can have chaos. But to what extent there has been any blending, if you may, with a command control style of management with the best idea will go through, even if it doesn't come from me, the commander?
Okay, first of all, in every organization, there are policies and there are rules. So that is the first part of it. So it's not a I tell you and you have to do. Because what you have to understand is that these younger persons who are coming in, they read and they Google and they try to find everything because they want to know their rights. And of such, we as managers now will have to sit with them, because this is how the partnership comes. It's not a push down your throat. We sit at the table, and that is why we have our normal lectures, where we discuss. If there's a problem, we would call them in and we would talk to them, and we would try to ensure that the best fit for the problem fits and makes the solution. And I must also say that some of the best ideas come from the younger persons, because they are out there. And what we're looking at also is that as a youth, you are in the field of youth. In my days, you would speak a certain language.
Yes.
In my younger years, I would use a certain language.
Yes.
Now, the younger people, the language that they use now is a language that is being used in the streets.
Yes.
And without that, we can't really understand everything if we don't really rap with them to know exactly what is happening.
Yes.
So I do think that it is much better now than it was, because at this time, as I said earlier on, we have our lectures and we have one-on-one, because it is no longer a time where I can't go in and speak with my officer. Certainly at CSSB, I know that everybody have a different policy, but I have an open door policy which allows my members, if something comes up and they need to speak to me, I don't believe in that they should wait 3-4 weeks and make an appointment to see me.
And that doesn't come by happenstance, and that's to come through a consciousness that that is the best way to manage.
Yes.
But when we come back, we'll discuss further P words, not just police, but partnership with you, members of the public. We'll be right back on Insight. And welcome back to Insight, the P word, on this celebration of the JCF's 152nd birthday and partnership. Let me come to you, Inspector. One of the terminologies we hear all nowadays is partnership, and every minister, every commissioner, born, yet to be born, and spent forces have always spoken to partnership. It's I don't know if it's a hackneyed phrase now, I don't know if it's overused. Is it still relevant, and what's this partnership about?
Well, we think it's still relevant, and we have for about the past 20 years I've been pushing community-based policing, and you'll hear people telling you about the 9 Ps. One of the Ps in that, and this is the philosophy of the JCF, is partnership. So we would have recognized that over the years, there are some things that we can do on our own. Some we need a little help, some we need a lot of help. And this is where the partnership is going to come in. So we would have gone through with different agencies, government agencies, NGO, community consultative committees would have gone through everything, because we will realize that the issue we're having is how to solve social problems within communities. Now, we do have social workers in the JCF, but for the most part, that is not our core function. So we have to find a person like you, who knows what it is we are to do. The person in communities, they will tell you, okay, of the 3 things, this is the one that we deem to be more urgent. We are not social agencies. So then you have the word partnership coming in, because we have to go to the persons who are in that field. But what we do is that we provide a kind of chain to get to these organizations, because we're out in the field and we know, okay, this sounds like something for a citizen security and justice program. This may be something for dispute resolution. So we kind of pave the way for community people to do that. Then we also have some programs that we want to do. We have, our brand, Police Youth Club, Neighborhood Watch. These things also take support. So I know sometimes people tell you, oh, but it's the same thing as saying sponsorship. But in some instances, yes, we are trying to get funding, but for the most part, we want to have a relationship with the persons who are partnering with us. So that is how you'll hear us talking about partnership. And that is not a word that is going to go away any at all in the JCF. Partnership is a must for us.
Hard policing, soft policing, community policing. Help us out with the terminologies, because over the 152-year stretch, Super, you have had to employ terminologies and words to suit. One of the things that Inspector just mentioned, you're not a social agency per se, but if water lock off, the police them call. If light lock off, St. Mary recently, people took out all kind of things. Is the police either have to come in or get the blame? In other words, the role that the police, JCF, has had to play since the beginning of time has changed dramatically, have taken on so much more.
And that is why the word partnership is very, very important. Because as you just said, water, we don't pump the water. National Water Commission is the person who deals with the water. And because of that partnership with National Water Commission, the police will be better able to reach out, because sometimes, as we know it in Jamaica, the little man down the bottom, when you talk to them, sometimes the manager at the top doesn't really know what is happening.
Here, here.
But when we speak to them, we speak to the manager. When there are crises, we speak to the manager. So that is why you will see the partnership comes in, because when we speak to the manager, manager knows that this is my work, so I'll have to be out there. But what is very, very important is that policing on a whole, it is not single-handed. We have to police the communities by consent, and that is also partnership. Because, and I say that to say this, if we sit with the residents and we speak with them, they will have a part to say, well, yes, I own this, so we live here and we need to take care of here. But when you just go in and you say, okay, this must be done, that might not be the solution for that community at that time.
Help me though, help me. I'm hearing you bringing a managerial concepts to this situation. I know you're a superintendent and perhaps you would have gone through to a number of these courses, and that best suits you to be the good superintendent you are. But a constable, is the training now reflecting the requirement that's coming out, so that when the rubber hits the road, as we say, they're up and ready to give this type of leadership?
And I must tell you, Mr. Sharp, that the training now is geared in that light. And in all human beings, you will go to school and the teacher will teach you to do things. But then when you get on the road, at times you try to go it the easier way instead of doing it the correct way. And of such, that is why some of the things that happen out there do happen. But the training itself from the college is right on par. And I must tell you also that from time to time, you spoke about the managers, yes, from time to time, you as the manager need to pull your team together, sit with them, and revise. Ongoing training. As we speak now, what is happening in training is that you will see a lot of police on the road. They are still not yet graduated, but we are doing on-the-job training, which should help them so that as soon as they are graduated and they go out there, they will be better able to meet and to suit the situations that are out there.
Let me put this troublemaking test to you. You have a situation now where we all come from the same society. Mm-hmm. Some join JDF, JCF, some turn radio announcer, TV, whatever. But we all come from the same mix, the same bowels, the same womb, the same whatever you want to describe it. And for that reason, and if the policing has become even more challenging, especially now that I see technology and everybody's now on their smartphone. Instead of helping people, they're taking picture. And the policeman now feels, or personnel, because I'm mindful of the fact that there's a gender situation here. The police personnel has to be mindful of that he or she is always on. Inspector, does that not make the life and work of a policeman even being taunted? Yes, I hear them, I see them, taunting, as if, well, you dare not do anything wrong because you're really not a human being, because you're trained. You're not supposed to get angry. You know, I might get angry.
The taunting doesn't faze us, really. We are trained persons, so we expect this. And when we're in training, we actually go through some of these scenarios. So that is not a challenge for us. So we're expected to keep our cool under pressure. You're talking about persons videoing us. We have no challenge with that either, because in a lot of instances it provides that kind of evidence that will say, yes, we did or we did not do. So we welcome that. But we are able to go under pressure. So none at all would I think that is daunting. We'd ask persons, for me though, would have seen issues of taunting that I believe really speaks to a lawlessness that I was really worried. I remember there was something, because this year we had a gentleman on a rooftop firing at the police. Now this is an illegal firearm that he has or had. And persons were chanting and cheering him on. No, those kind of taunting, we really have to take seriously. We are your police officers. We are members of families. We are your family members. And to have a gentleman firing at us because we are called to a scene to give assistance and you're there in the public taunting and cheering on that person, it is very disheartening for us. So that kind of taunting we can do without, but if just a hecklers, we are able to manage that. So it's more disheartening.
Question, will we ever reach the day, is it possible that instead of heckling, instead of seeing a police vehicle washed away in a river, up the hills, St. Andrew Hills, and people saying, yeah man, they're sort of not gone and they drive hard, and will there ever be a day you foresee, Super, that people say, listen, it's our money that just crashing out, is a sense of belonging and ownership.
And that is why I will say what I have to say right now. The police is your police. We serve you, the public. And until when you start owning the police, then you'll be better able to understand and know, yes, they're a part of us. Because what is happening, if you notice now, is that the police, that is how you speak, the police. But when the citizens start to own the police, the same the police, as our police, there and then, persons will be better able to say, okay, they are our police. We need to help our police to get through this. And there comes again the word partnership.
Yes, and there comes again the word break. And I'm often reminded from folks that the police is a second chain that people call for help after saying, Jesus Christ, police. But we'll be right back and find out more on the 152nd anniversary of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We'll be right back on Insight. Superintendent V. Thomas, Inspector N. Palmer. They normally say woman inspector, woman superintendent. I flipped one day when I really heard the real reason. The real reason because yes, they look like women and they are women. But when you're sending out a party, you have to accommodate for women different how you accommodate for men. Duh, right? So I was like, I usually why do you have to distinguish? Gender bias? But operationally when you're going out, it makes sense. Yes, it makes sense. Which brings me to a topic, Superintendent. The police force is biased towards male. The gender balance is 70-30. But yet, when you have your recruitment, it's 80% women and 20% men that are passing the exams, are applying. 152 years, are we ready for the reverse of the balance, or is it still a heavy lifting type of organization that we're involved in? It's called a googly.
Yes, I like the way you put it. But what we have to understand, though, is this. Most of the males who apply to join the organization at times do not meet up to the requirements. And if you remember earlier on when you asked about coming from 1867, educational wise, what is it like now? in the force.
Yes.
If you go into the universities, this is what you will see.
In the classrooms.
In the classrooms, this is also what you will see. And of such, this is the cause for it. We are really on a drive now, trying to get the best that we can get from the males. And that is why, even in the schools, we have our police youth club groups in the schools. Because in doing this, we can help to steer them, not in the gangs, but in the better world. We will be able to steer them. And as I said earlier on, it is not unique to Jamaica either. It is worldwide. If you notice, in all the schools, universities, this is what you'll find. A female will more tend to sit with the book and try to get the book because, you know, growing up, your parents tell you books before boys.
Yes.
So you're going to ensure that you hold on to books. But in the male world, they are influenced, peer pressure.
Girls before books.
Yeah. The peer pressure is there.
Yes.
So a male, he's not a man until he can do some other activity.
Smoke ganja.
Right.
To himself. Let's look at the things that's keeping them out of the force. Real. You know, and certainly part of it is you got a Babylon boy. I mean, informer.
Informer.
You know, so that is corrupting the pool that you want to draw from. You know, what incentive would you give them, Ms. Palmer? Why should a young man join the JCF?
It's one of the best organizations that you could ever join. It teaches you discipline, respect. It teaches you how to think. It shows you get to meet people from all walks of life. It's not a 9-to-5 sit-down job. You're out on the street at one point, another time you're in your office. So it gives you that kind of mix. Personally, they don't want to be sitting behind a desk for 8 hours, 9 hours. And I must tell you that our hours are long. But we get to interact with persons, you know. There are opportunities for overseas training, local training. So if you are thinking about a career, this is where you're supposed to be. We want good men and women, you know. What would have found over time, as SB has said, that the balance is not there, but we also have an establishment that speaks to that. What would have been evolving? This is a place for young men and women to come and grow. You know, this is, I know I'm going to teeth a slogan. You say, this is your place to shine. We allow that. As I would have said, we have a person, when I came in and I use myself as an example, I'm from an inner city background. I came in at the JCF as a young person. I credit everything that I have to the JCF. I don't know of any other organization who would have given me the benefits and opportunities that I've gotten. Last year I was able, I tell everybody this, last year I went to Los Angeles for a crime conference. And on my own, I would never have gone. You know, you only see Los Angeles, Hollywood, on TV. Exactly. The JCF, through partnership, of course, we were able to send a team to that. So that kind of exposure. Now I'm here on JNN. No,
that's a bit.
Where else would I?
Yes.
There you go. So if you're really thinking of a career, this is where we suggest that you look.
Super. Tell me, personally, when you walk out there in your super hat and super crown and them things on your chest and your shoulders, you know, do you get the sense that uniform is respected? Is it fading away? I mean, what's going on with that? When you walk out there, how the feeling is?
Let us look at it this way. You, the person, you will have to be that person who knows exactly what you're for. So when you put the uniform on and you go out there in a professional manner, the respect is there. It is not a case that you're going to push it down on anybody, but you too will have to respect persons. So when I am dressed in my uniform, not just in my uniform, I normally respect persons. But I must tell you that when you do put the uniform on, it makes you look...
Transformative.
Yes, because people will say, you know, you don't look the same way in the uniform that you look when you are in your plain clothes. And it gives that sense of reassuring, because persons will say, but you smile all the while, but when you're in the uniform, there is the smile, but there is some seriousness within the smile, and we respect that. So professionalism is the order of the day, because once you respect persons, it doesn't matter, a man might be out there going on, and what we have to understand is that crimes are committed against the states, not against me or you, the police, the person.
Say that slowly again.
Crime is committed against the state. It's not normally committed against you. And if it is committed against you as being a part of the state, it is the responsibility of another police officer.
Where do I place passionate policing then? As soon as if you want me to back off, I say, oh, it's a state, it's not me, we can go on.
No.
Yes?
when I say this to say that when you take it on personally as if it is yours, in the sense that there is let us use a traffic accident outside there, and you go out there and you start to behave as if the vehicle is your vehicle.
Yes.
At that time, the professionalism is not there. But when you say these are two persons out there who had an accident, it will be balanced.
Yes. In other words,
it will be balanced.
Be the judge, do not be the juror.
You can't be everything.
Yes.
So once you do your job is supposed to speak to the persons, get their statement, put the matter before the court.
But is it not somewhat difficult, because you're sitting in a station and a woman comes in there with her eye popping out because our gentleman just beat her to frazzle. You have sisters, you have a mother, you have aunts and uncles, and when you see that, it's difficult to be indifferent, isn't it? And that is why it comes back again, as Inspector Palmer said earlier. We were trained to be calm in situations. And once you start to think that it was my sister, or if it is even your sister who walked in, the first thing is that you should try to get some assistance for that person. So once you send that person off, you get the information and send that person off to the doctor. Then at least then you can send no to get the person who did whatever it is. And if you start believing that it is me, then you won't be able to act rationally. But, you know, Inspector, are we asking people to be robots? Persons are out there arresting a taxi man. All I'm bridging them on every little minion with a phone. Start come. Load them on, call him name and all them kind of... You're human, right? How do you rationalize it? It's training.
Yes, risk assessment is one of the things that we're also taught. So yes, we're going to be out there, and once you're briefed, they will tell you there are some things that we can handle. Most time it's two policemen out there working as a team, and you'll have other persons in the area, but most time together it's the two persons. Now, if you assess that situation and you believe that the two of us can manage, because you would have seen the incidents, we're not going to hide and pretend that we don't know what is happening out there as well. Persons are pulling persons from our hands to say you can't arrest him. If we assess and we realize that we can't do it that way, then the rational thing, the sensible thing to do is to pull back. And we're not retreating, because we can't do that, because if you have committed yourself, then it is our responsibility. We have an obligation to protect you and to protect others. But we can proceed in other ways. So we know the driver, and in most instances we know the driver. This is our beat. We have the plate numbers. We can proceed by summons. So we're not going out there to tell our officers not to be in sympathy or be in empathy with anybody, or to just arrest and block. we have to do risk assessment, and they are briefed thus. So yes, they're going to be out there in a situation like that. If it's something that they can't manage, we really don't want to be seeing this tug of war happening now. It looks very unprofessional, and we do know this. Let us proceed by summons.
So don't fight it.
Don't
deal
fight
with it later.
No, and there's a good reason for separation of powers. The person who arrests you is not the person who is going to be sitting with you in court. There's a judge for that. So we present, as we said, not for us, it's not committed against the state. We are just a state agent that carries out the arrest or through the summons. So we take you to court. The judge is going to listen to both sides. And if he believes that we did you wrong, then he's going to throw it out, and then actions follow through that.
All right, we're going to take a break because I've been getting the voice of God in my ear. Time for another break. When we come back, we'll deal with what's this party celebration about, 152nd year. And of course, it's a Yuletide season, so how can we prepare to help ourselves? We'll be right back on Insight. 152 years ago, the Jamaica Constabulary Force was born out of the Morant Bay Rebellion. And then since then has been trying to make itself applicable to the changing needs and demands of our society. 150 was big. We celebrated one big thing I can recall. 152, although it's more than 150. Celebration is not as big. But there is celebration, isn't there, Super?
Yes.
And what are the celebrations to mark 152?
Okay, we will have a week of celebration. It starts on, first of all, the theme this year, because each year we have a theme. Okay. Last year our theme was a force for good.
Okay.
This year we want to ensure that this force, it is really a force for good. So we add this year to that one last year, and this year's theme is a force for good through partnership.
Through partnership, there goes the P.
Through partnership, yes, through that partnership. Yes, so that is the first thing. And this year we are reaching out more than we did the previous years, in that we realize, as I said earlier on, that policing is not just for the police, it's for all of us. Yes. Once you're a citizen in Jamaica, it's for all of us. And when we partner together, we get more. Indeed. And of such, both our internal customers, that's the members of the organization, yes, as also our external customers, you the citizens. We want all of us to join hands together, all hands on deck, okay, in order for us to have a safer and a better Jamaica. I want to say a crime-free Jamaica, but it takes strides. We have to do it timely. And so this year, our celebration starts on Monday, November the 25th.
Okay.
And we have several activities during the week. Inspector Palmer will deal with some of it.
Yes.
And I will deal with some.
Yes.
Okay, so on the Monday, we open the stations. It's always open. Mm-hmm. I must hasten to say the stations are always open, but we invite you, the citizens.
You don't have to have direct business.
No, you don't have to have direct business. And that is why I again say, we want you to own your police. Know the police that is in the area that is serving you. It's easier to get a number for the police at the station that is serving you and something happened, and you can call the police, that person, than to say, okay, let me call control. Let control call the station. So we are opening up the station on Monday.
All stations across?
All stations across the island.
Okay.
We also want our police.
What, there are hours that, because you can't do this from 12 to 12.
No, for the entire day, because there are some persons go to work in the morning. Okay. They might not be able to go until in the afternoon, in the evening. You're coming home from work, stop, meet with your police. Speak to them, they speak to you. Speak with them as it relates to what is affecting you.
Will you
in
be
your
having
communities.
special officers to listen and to record some of these complaints?
Yes.
Or you can just pass and say hello, thanks.
Thanks, yes. You have been serving us for a while, and we just want to say thanks to you. It's not just you going in. Some persons will be in the station awaiting you to come in, and some of us will be going out.
Oh.
Remember also that our children is very near and dear to us. And so, in the morning, some of us will go in the schools. Yes, we will be going in the schools. We will be having devotions with our children. And we will have encouraging words for our children. Because the Bible tells you a little child shall lead us.
Well, you know, just a branch off there, you know, super. When it comes to Career Day, nobody is just up. There's no more career. You look at JCF. Everybody with them hat and them baton and them.
Yes.
So, you know, you want to keep that.
Yes, you want to keep that. But this is also, when you go in the schools, it is not just the children that you are going there to see when you go there as well, you know. Remember, we have vendors outside.
Yes.
We have some people who will never come to the station.
The station will come to them.
So when you go out there,
like
yes,
Mohammed.
yes, when you go out there, you will meet persons out there, and at least persons will know, oh, you work up at the station. So we don't want the police to be just sitting in. We have a set because we know that, for example, school resource officers, they're always in the schools. So from time to time, we have to switch the role around.
Yes.
And then you have a different set of persons.
No a cop before you need
a cop.
Okay.
And that is what we need to do.
All right. So there's two major things. You inviting people to come in on the 25th to the stations, and you will be going out to the schools, having devotion with them. So we have a lot of stuff going on there. On community policing. What else is going on?
For the Tuesday.
Okay, so for the Tuesday, and even though it's a party and we're celebrating, we also have to remember it's also a memorial aspect as well to the week. This is where we recognize and remember the members who would have lost in the year. Okay. So for the church service, we'll have a memorial aspect of it.
Church service,
yes. On the let me go down.
Yes.
All right. So the Tuesday, we're recognizing the children of deceased members. We have over 30 members who passed during the year. And our years from November last year to November
Not necessarily in the line of duty, just all
we
those
have one
yes,
just for the line of duty, but they passed. So we want to just reach out. It's a family yes, organization.
Internal custom.
Yes, the commissioner will be meeting with the children and their guardian parents on Tuesday. On Wednesday, there's also a stakeholders meeting on Tuesday, and this is again partnership. We're looking at the partners and stakeholders. There's persons who would have interacted with us, who would have done either a project or collaborated on something. What are your concerns? You know, are we doing something good? Is it that we need to fix something? So the commissioner will also be meeting at 4 o'clock with those persons.
Where is this?
It will be at his office, and it is by invitation.
Okay.
So the person should have received, and then the divisions also, the divisions parishes will also be having their commanders meeting with persons at the parish level. Yes. On the Wednesday, we will call it a reasoning. Let's go reason. Yes. And one of the things that remember, as our commissioner said to us, yes, we value the persons who come to us, but then you have a segment of the community who will never come. They're not coming to us. How do we get those? So he's going out on the corner, to go and chat with these persons. We're going to tell you, we're looking at the different corners now just to see how basic logistics-wise we can work as many as possible. Okay. So we'll be giving you the corners. So he'll come to you. He is coming out to hear these persons. Okay. We want people to come and talk. Let us be frank. What it is that we're doing. Open. Help us to help.
Respectfully open.
Safe. Yes. Is it that we can improve on something? We're not doing something good. Let us know. So he's going out to hear for himself, and don't need me to tell him. So he will be hearing from you for himself. The Thursday, we are doing this kind of long service award. This is now when you would have gotten over 18-year service. I got mine last year. So for the persons coming up, and they'll be going up, commissioner will be pinning on their medals on them. Again, this is going to be at the Police Officers Club. I'm not sure if that one is by invitation, but because we have the space. And then on Friday, we'll call this number Bashment Day. This is when we're going to cook a pot. So we're running a boat.
Nobody can run boat like police, right?
Nobody. I think we are the boss in running boats, right? So we say, come to station, bring your banana, bring your yam. We're going to have little chicken bag, little chicken food. We're going to curry, we're going to stew, we're going to make soup.
I know here, I don't eat pork, but I don't think you can say no pork on this police.
Police
I
must
don't
have
think
a
anybody
little,
eat more pork.
no, man, police must have a little stew pork or pork somewhere. So, but we'll keep that pot a little further from the persons who don't eat it. So come out, it's free. We come out and eat and just lime with us. And then in the evening, we're having a big concert up by Mandela Park.
Mandela. When is this? Which day?
The Friday.
Friday as well, after the pot.
After the pot, we relax now. We probably take a little nap. Yeah. And then you come out fresh again for concert. Agent Sasko, Ken Boo, JCF and band, and it's all free.
Nice people, Agent Sasko, my boss.
We're doing things, we're doing good, you know, man. So we have the big artists coming out. It's really about just interacting again. We say, how can we help to keep you safe?
Yes, and let me stop you right away because it's limited time.
Yes.
Help us out now, you'll tide up, come on,
and the church service on the Sunday, so Super will tell you where they are. All right, so let me tell you now, we're going, for a crime to happen, and I have to say this, I know we're running out, you must have a victim, you must have a perpetrator, somebody's going to commit the crime, and you must have an opportunity. Now, if the opportunity doesn't present itself, chances are the crime won't happen. So for this season, we know persons are in the streets, and we'll be out there with you. Our Christmas duty starts in December, where we're hitting the street. One thing, don't walk with all the shopping bags covering up your face. You can't see anything. And when you walk and you buy, put them in the trunk. Don't leave them on the seats, the back seat, the front seat. Don't leave them visible for persons to see. They will break your glasses. I'm talking even persons leaving laptops and all of those things. Put valuables in your trunks. As best as possible, try to minimize the amount of cash that you travel with. It's nice if you can use your cards. You know, we have some prepaid cards. If you have the money, go in the bank and put it on it, you know. It really makes sense. We'll tell persons, be alert if you're walking. And yes, we know it's your phone. We know it's your phone. You bought them, and they tell it's a free society we should be, but it's your phone. But you have to be alert. People will snatch them from you, for one, and then you lose that sense of alertness. So be aware of where you're going. Have your keys in hand. Don't have everything in your hand that you can't. You're going to the car, and that's when you're going to be struggling in the back to find the keys. Walk in groups if you can. There's all this thing saying that keep on the main roads. You know, if you believe that you're being followed, you know, you proceed, be out there, you stop and talk to a policeman. The stations in some instances is not far from you. Try to use ATMs that are lit. I know a lot of time you have some in the lit area, some in the bank. We're saying use those if you have to draw your cash, use. Oh Lord, I'm only so much time.
Okay. You have done well. You have done well. One quick word on the church service, Super, because that's where we have to leave.
Okay, so our church service, commemorative and memorial church service, will be on Sunday, December 1.
December 1.
That is the day that
Where?
it's the end of the police week of activities. The national service will be in Area 1. And that will be at Calvary Baptist Church.
Area 1 is where?
St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney.
So
that's the Baptist Church at 10 a.m. It's on Carnelda Avenue in Montego Bay, okay. St. James, right in front of Jarrett. In front Jarrett Park.
Okay.
So you can't miss it there.
Near, what you should say, near Sam Sharp Square.
Okay. And all the other areas will have their church service as well.
Thank you very much. We could continue for 152 more minutes, but I want to thank our special guests, Ms. Thomas and Ms. Palmer. And if you notice I say Ms., they're all taken care of by way of Miss Sis. But for my rank and file here, it's Miss. They're my friends. I want to thank you so much for being with us. And Michael Sharp wishing you pleasant viewing.